Yesterday, the Kaduna State Governor Nasir el-Rufai threatened to revolt against the All Progressives Congress after his Yobe State counterpart, Mai Mala Buni, reneged on an agreement reached earlier this week for all governors in the Caretaker committee to step down in a no victor, no vanquished deal. Buni was ousted as chairman of the Caretaker and Extraordinary Planning Committee, CECPC, of Nigeria's ruling party last week. However, his removal hit a roadblock when the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, reminded the APC that it has failed to follow due process in convening a meeting of the National Executive Committee and the requirement for 21 days' notice to hold its national convention. Owing to the legal quagmire thrown up by INEC, an agreement was reached with Buni for all governors of the CECPC to stand down and to allow other members of the committee to plan the convention. However, Buni reneged on the agreement by flying out to London, where he persuaded President Muhammadu Buhari to reinstate him as the CECPC chairman. Incensed by the development, el-Rufai, in a message sent to his colleagues via WhatsApp, said, in quotes, "Unity is impossible to attain when leaders that are in office, because we consented to it, are consistently erratic, capricious, corrupt, and deceitful." End of quote. He stressed that loyalty begets loyalty, deception begets mistrust, and betrayal begets revolt. El-Rufai went on to state that he was done with this charade unless concrete, honest, and transparent steps were taken to implement the agreed plan under a trusted leadership. Now joining us to discuss the threat of a revolt by some governors of the APC and what this portends for the ruling party is Professor Yusuf Dankofa, a professor of law at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Welcome to the show, Professor. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor.
Morning.
Well, quickly, Professor Dankofa, what do you think is the way out of this mess, if I may use that phrase, that the APC is dealing with? And is it true, as some people have alleged, that the Independent National Electoral Commission is in cahoots with some forces within the party to manipulate the conditions within the party?
I think the second point is the refusal of the political actors to always conform with rule of law and party guidelines. You know, every institution, every phenomenon, every organization, must conform to its internal party mechanism, internal rules. And it is only when we do that that we enhance the rule of law. So party politics and administration demands that the rules governing all its activities must be complied with. And if that is done, then the consequences is that there will be fluidity in the way and manner the parties are being run. These are structures, these are institutions that are meant to be used as the citadel of getting to power for the purpose of nation building and national development. And it has its own rules. The constitution is there, the party constitution is there, the party guidelines are there. And when it comes to, for example, the removal of Buni, you see, the rules are clear that it is only the NEC, National Executive Council of that party, that can remove Buni. And without that, nobody can remove Buni. That is the established norm. That's the established rule. So for subverting its party conditions, for subverting its party provisions, the APC has created, a crisis that could, engulf it. And that has always been our argument, that for as long as political leaders, see these political parties as their own fiefdom, to be controlled with scant regard towards its rules and procedure, we continue to have the concept of rule of man. And when you continue to, have the narrative of rule of man in a political party that's supposed to be participating, then you're going to have a problem, because there will be camps and there will be godfathers. So, and also, beyond the issue of godfatherism in the control of political parties, it's also the issue of, political greed and interest. You see, all these actors are trying to see how they can put their own lacking, put their own surrogates, in political party structures, so that they can enhance their own political fortune. So it is not about the interest of the nation. The contestation that we are seeing is not about the interest of the nation, but the interest of the, few political, actors who are powerful, who always want to use the political parties as, the basis upon which they can acquire power and also resources. Because if indeed these political parties are meant to be promoted as institutions that will enhance governance, then there will always be consensus amongst them with regards or in conformity with what the law provides. So the moment when it comes to administration of political organization, the moment the rule of law is not conformed, the moment it's being undermined, we are going to have this crisis. Angry people will go to court to challenge. And you see, lack of conforming to rule of law could translate to one thing, that all the actions of the party will be deemed as nullity. And the courts have said so in so many cases, in so many fora, that look, these parties have their rules. And the moment you don't conform to rule of law within the party structure, one, it excludes some people. Three, those that are excluded will feel dissatisfied and go to court. And the moment people start going to court and seeking orders against the court, it impinges on the cohesion necessary,
Right.
for the party to work together and perform its mandates.
Thank you, Professor. Yes, a lack of internal democracy has proved fatal on numerous occasions, and yet these political gladiators are not getting the message. Can you kind of decipher what Governor el-Rufai is referring to when he refers to a revolt? Does that mean that he's thinking of leaving the party as an option? And it's pretty safe to assume that he would not be leaving alone. There must be others who agree with him. What would happen if Governor el-Rufai and other governors decide to decamp from APC at this juncture?
Well, you see, that would be uncharitable of them. A party that has given them the platform to become governors, a party that has made them to be able to articulate their own policy and agenda for development upon being governors, is not a party that they are deriding today and issuing threats against. So I think that is uncharitable. What they need to do is to explore internal party dispute resolution mechanism. We have that in all the parties. Look, if you are disgruntled, if you are dissatisfied, you don't come out to issue threats against the party that made you. And that goes to show the irresponsibility of the Nigerian political class, because they don't see this political party as parties that are being driven by ideology, the ideology for development. So when you have been able to use the platform of a party, political party, to get to the seat of governorship and also actualize your political desire, and you've been able to really complete your term, even if there are certain actions that you think are inimical to the progress of the party, what is expected of a very supportive party man, a patriotic party man, is to make sure that they continue to use the internal dispute resolution mechanism to resolve the problem and not to continue to issue out threats. So, which means if they threaten APC and they move on, which means they are politicians that are not driven with any kind of political ideology. It's just about what I can get. If I cannot get what I want, then we scatter the party and trigger an implosion process. So you see, that's why we're saying that, we need to have visionary people in the political system, people who are patriotic to the Nigerian cause, people who are nationalistic, who understand that party politics is about playing it in according to the rules of the game, so as to be able to use it as the effective basis, effective platform in which to govern the state respectively and responsibly.
Okay, Prof. Could all this problem be because APC, like some people claim, was set up as a special purpose vehicle and there was no natural ethos in the party in the first place? Could that be the reason for this problem?
Yes, it could be. But also, beyond that reason, at least they should have been able to understand that, look, Nigerians have given them this mandate. This is a glorious responsibility for them to serve this mission, bearing in mind, the trajectory of the nation as at the time they came into being. So, of course, we realize that, is like a combination of, people that are probably strange bedfellows. But when you are thinking about the larger picture, Nigeria as a whole, you have to downplay your own parochial, personal interests. So the problem is that the Nigerian political class, until they imbibe, the philosophy of, developing this country beyond their own personal aggrandizement, they will continue to find it difficult to work together in any political party because of various interests, because of diverse personal interests, diverse interests that does not relate to the development of the nation. We have so many problems on ground that a responsible political party, the only one for that matter, should be able to focus itself on the needs of the country. We have poverty, mass poverty in this country. We have deindustrialization. Industries are collapsing. There's no energy. Our economy is in shreds. These are very, very, difficult times for Nigerians. And I feel that as a ruling party, they should see beyond the mundane. They should see beyond, their noses and try to understand the larger issue. Infrastructures are not, being developed. There is nothing to be done in terms of rural development. Go to our rural areas. Even the so-called infrastructural development that is feeble, you only find them in tiny spots in urban centers. Go to rural areas where the larger majority of Nigeria lives. There's nothing to show that there's presence of this government.
Well,
so I think that.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. I was going to thank you and bring the interview to an end, but please go ahead. Please conclude.
Yes. You coupled together some people that do not even have the same ideology, but I think the party itself, the party leadership should have continued, to promote the philosophy of that party, the ideology of that party that relates to what.
On that note, Prof. Well, Professor Yusuf Dankofa, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today.